Well, a very good evening to one and all, and welcome to this SuccessfulEntertainers.com special live broadcast with Randy Charach, the Millionaire Magician, and the man, the myth, the legend. Also, you know him, you love him. He is Claude. How you doing tonight, Claude?
Absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to the session with Randy tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast. And Randy, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, thanks. Looking forward to this as well. I think this is going to be very cool.
Yeah, and it's the nice thing is it's we get to leverage technology, and this coming from a techno boob, a professional techno boob. So if I can do it, you can do it. So we are broadcasting and streaming live right inside of Facebook, inside of SuccessfulEntertainers.com. If you want to join us in the conversation, just do yourself a favor and post a question, a comment, a conversation point. This is a great chance to get your questions asked. When is the last time you had the chance to talk to a professional, full-time, working, executive income earning professional performer, and not only ask them, you know, like, how do you do it? What do you do? Tell me this, tell me that. But if you're smart, you'll ask questions like what do you have to believe in order to achieve your success? Because I promise you, that is the telling secret. It's because, hey, listen, you can do exactly what we do, but it's because we believe what we believe that determines the results we get. We believe that we're going to have success in everything we do, so we take different action steps. So you might want to just think about that for a moment as you participate with us tonight. So, Randy, let's get started. First of all, take us back to, let's take us back to the beginning. Give us the whole shoot match. Tell us about Randy. Bring us up to the book, and then tell us a little bit about the book and the course and how we came to know you, besides being a full-time professional working pro.
Okay, sure. So, you know, I first was exposed to magic at the age of 5, as probably many of the people listening and watching this now can relate to. That, I think, is the age where most kids kind of get into it, 5 to 10. So I was 5, and I was in Las Vegas on a family vacation visiting my uncle, who was a magician there, and he taught me the multiplying bunny trick. And after that, I was hooked. He taught me a few sleights with coins and this sort of thing, and then I was in love with magic. I got a magic kit when I was a couple years later for a birthday party and for a birthday gift. And I did my first show when I was in grade 5 at 10 years old, and my first paid performance when I was 12, and it was for a kid's birthday party. It was January 13th, 1976, and I was paid $6 for that show. And interestingly enough, I have a little book where I wrote that down, and then the next couple hundred shows as well in that book. And I kept track of them. I was going from 6 to 8 to 10 to 25, then to 50. And the interesting thing is, when I was maybe like 13 or 14, I was at $50 for doing kids' birthday parties. And at that time, everybody else was like 20. And I learned early on to price myself according to what I felt my value was, as opposed to what other people were charging, and that's stuck with me right through to today. So doing magic, like, through high school, I made a great living. Actually, I didn't need to, because I was still living at home, but I was actually making more money than my parents, and they did okay. They had a small jewelry store, and I was doing great. I was doing shows on the weekends. I started doing holiday parties, and even when I was like 17 or so, I started doing some clubs and started doing comedy magic, and right out of high school in '81, that's when I went full-time pro, and haven't really looked back. I have done other things as well, but that was when I went pro.
Right? Well,
Yeah.
It's easy to understand how you could become a successful magician at $20 a show or $50 a show. Right?
Well, back then, that was a lot of money. I remember when the first time I was probably like 15 years old, and it's like a long time ago, almost 40 years ago. I mean, and I remember when I got $100 for a show, and it's like, wow, that was cool. Then all of a sudden, my price was 100, then 125, and then it was like 500, then 1,000 when I was like maybe in early 20s, and then a couple thousand, 2,500 sort of thing. It kept going up, and again, I was typically being paid at a certain point, I kind of calculated it as about 10 times more than most of the other entertainers in my market that I was getting paid. So a lot of guys were still doing shows for $100. I was getting 1,000. I mean, and so that was cool. And now, it wasn't just because I decided to charge more. It's because I offered more. I gave more value, and we'll talk about that today. But to bring you up to date on the to now and going back to sort of in the next couple minutes, we can talk about the last 30 years. So from '81 to 2001, full time did somewhere in like 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 shows. I was busy doing a lot of shows. A lot of them are corporate. I did some motivational speaking. I kind of veered out of the family shows and went more into mentalism, probably during the 1990s to 2000 sort of thing, and mentalism and speaking was really mostly what I did. I stopped doing kid shows probably when I was about 25 years old or so, and then after doing those shows and after 2 decades full time professional at it, I was feeling like I wanted a little bit of a change, and I wrote the book, The Secrets of a Millionaire Magician, and I figured I will get that out there because I was never really a developer, and I'm still not, of like effects, magic tricks, and that sort of thing. That's not where my mind is. I'm more on presentation, on customer service and marketing. When I say customer service, it means that I've always taken care of my client. I've always been great with them from the very moment they have an interaction with me, long past the show's over. There's been a relationship, and that's one of the ways to add value is just to be there with them and for them whenever they need you. Pulling favors for agents. I have relationships with agents that I'm working with now that go way back 30 years, 25, 30 years, and we've kind of matured together and are still working together right to this day.
Right, and that's again as you listen, gang, pay particular attention not only to what he's doing, but why he's doing it, what he thinks about what he's doing, and why he's doing it. Relationships are paramount to this process, and
it's everything.
It is absolutely everything. Yeah, it is absolutely everything. So,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. This is just sort of a casual fireside chat, so there's no wrong answer here.
All right. Well, after that book, I still performed for another year or so, a couple of years, but really was phasing it out. I was kind of losing interest in performing and gaining interest in the whole internet marketing world, which was taking off 2001, 2002. I mean, sure, the internet was around years before that, but it was really just starting to come of age. And so by putting out that book and the way I marketed, and then I wrote a follow-up book called Niche Magic, explaining how I did the Millionaire Magician book, and I had courses like the Complete Guide to Internet Marketing and the Internet Marketing Crash Course, and book of seminars, had an infomercial, one thing led to another, and I was speaking and entertaining on the stage, but instead of doing mentalism, I was teaching marketing skills, and I was developing different things and testing things and sharing them and publishing and coaching and all that sort of thing. So that really consumed me for around the next 10 years, which really brings us up to a few years ago where I decided to perform again. I never thought I would actually perform again, but I have a special place in my heart for the mentally ill. For several reasons, which is probably another chat. But I decided to do a benefit series of shows to raise awareness and funds for the Canadian Mental Health Association. So I booked our local Yuck Yucks for 4 Wednesdays in July a couple of years ago, and I just basically produced my own show. I had help in putting my show back together, and then I used my own marketing skills. I sold out the 4 weeks, 200 seats per. Each show was completely sold out. Tickets were like $20, $25 each. All the money went to the Canadian Mental Health Association, and it was really for me for fun and to just for whatever, and to help out. But what I really didn't expect was to discover what I had missed in the previous 10 years by not performing, not being an entertainer. I just got such a charge out of it. I just loved it so much. I thought, I'm going to do some more of this. And I really kind of just slowly got back into it right up to about a year ago when I decided I'm going to do a lot more shows, which I've been doing. Right. That brings us up to today, pretty much.
Good. So everybody's thinking, and always as you've talked to people in various areas of coaching and supporting other people's business growth and development, and there's some questions that always come around, and people talk about pricing and positioning and quick start strategies and things like that. Is there something special that like pops out in your mind if you were to give somebody a bit of advice to get started, get restarted? What are the key things that people want to walk away with that would be of value and interest to them?
Sure. Well, one of the things is I never, and this may sound hard to believe, but I never actually focused on the money. I know that most of our conversations are around the money.
Right.
Also, I'm teaching it to do with the money, but I started performing like when I was 5 because I loved it, or that's when I got interested in it. I started performing when I was like 10, 12, hiring myself out doing these things. The reason I did it a few years ago is because I just thought it would be fun again. And when I go out, I'm not doing it. I don't need to work now, and to make a living. I've done well enough. So that's not my primary motivation, and it never has been. And if it is, then there's an issue, there's a problem, because you need to focus on, first of all, for us as performers, we have to focus on what it is we love to do, and by really loving to perform, not for ourselves but for others, to entertain them, that just makes our show that much more special. And when we connect with the audience that way, that's when it becomes more than just watching an entertainer who's pretty good at what he does. That's where you create the real magic with people. So first of all, I would say, make sure that this is what you really love to do. If you're in a rut, if you no longer love performing, do something else. And frankly, that's where I was in 2002 or so when I decided not to do it. I was no longer doing it because I loved it. I was now doing it because it was just what I was doing. I knew how to do it. I could do it. It was no longer fun. I found something else that was fun. I needed that break. My spark was fired again. And now, here's something interesting. Now, and again, most of this is by accident, and I'm actually the first to say that I'm successful despite myself. Like a lot of these things just happen because, hey, sometimes I don't overthink things. I've been into hypnosis for a long time. I put out 18 different self-hypnosis audio programs in 1995. I hypnotized somebody when I was around that 10, 11 years old. I hypnotized my friend Adam Anderson into believing that he was eating a delicious apple when it was really an onion. My friends thought that was the coolest thing. But I never performed stage hypnosis until just over a year ago. Of course, I knew how to hypnotize people. I studied it many times. I had many friends, like Peter Ravine was a good friend of mine, the late Scott Lewis. Like I had a lot of friends who were hypnotists, but I never cared to talk about hypnosis with them. I wasn't interested in hypnosis from a stage point of view, because I thought a lot of the routines were kind of silly and just kind of like not that entertaining. And so I never had a desire. For some reason, I got that bug about a year ago, and just over. I went and I took some training, and I started doing my hypnosis show. I was actually booked, it was a year ago last March, I was booked on the NCL Star to perform as a mentalist, but I asked the agent that booked me, I said, is it okay if I do a hypnosis show? I had never done one before. And she said, do whatever you want. They booked you, for you, and they don't have a problem on that line with hypnosis, so yeah, you can. So what I did is I had my whole mentalism act. It's a 45-minute show, 1,000 people in the theater, and I had that off to the side, and I went out and I did a mentalism show. I didn't really need to get into the, I did a hypnosis show. I started with mentalism and just for a few minutes, and then I went into it, and I haven't looked back. Like it was so much fun, and again I thought, I'm 5 again. Like I love this. This is so great. But here's what happened. Here's how the money follows the passion. All of a sudden now I have a whole other act to promote and sell. Now, instead of just marketing myself as a magician, a comedian, a mentalist, I now can market myself as a hypnotist. I can sell that show, and there's a whole new market for that. Right. And guess what else? Even though over the years prior I would do my show for the same clients year after year, I decided this time around I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to come and perform for them year after year. I have enough options of where I want to perform and who I want to perform for, that I'd rather have a new audience. I'll go back maybe after a couple of years. And also, I just don't feel like doing the same show for them, and I don't want to put together a new show, because we all know, like a professional, you have one show you do over and over again for different audiences. An amateur, you do a different show for the same audience all the time. So I'm a professional, so what I do, but I just get tired of doing the same show for the same audience. So here's the thing now. Now someone calls me and they want me. I say, oh, look, I did the mentalism show maybe when they booked me a year ago. This happened a lot, like 6 months ago. And they said, we want to book you back for your mentalism show. I said, I'm not available to do that, but I am available to do my hypnosis show. I'm going to send you to a video. I want you to see what it's all about. Let me know if you want that show instead. They looked at it, they said, that's crazy. Yeah, that's great. Do that show. So I ended up doing that. So now I can go back. Now I'm okay to go back to those clients. Also, if I'm booked at a conference or I'm booked somewhere or a theater, I could do the first half of the show mentalism, the second half hypnosis, or the first night mentalism, and then I could do maybe hypnosis with a motivational message the next day.
Right.
Now there's more money, but it came from the passion. It wasn't the other way around.
And I think Peter Revine did that as well. I think he did half the illusions and half the hypnotist show, I think, as well. I think he kind of did a combination of...
Peter told me once that he loved doing the magic, the illusion shows, more than the hypnosis shows. But for every dollar he would make as a hypnotist, he would lose a half a dollar when he'd go do his illusion show. So for some reason he couldn't, he'd lose money doing his illusion shows. I don't recall him ever mixing the two, but I do remember having that conversation with him. And when I was, he would come to Vancouver, do his show at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre, and I'd go visit him and his wife Coral. They'd be staying at the Bayshore Hotel. I'd go visit them. And and we kept in touch on the phone. And when I go to Vegas, that sort of thing. I'm just trying to remember. Oh yeah, we met through. He has an affiliation with another friend of mine here in Vancouver. So we met, like, this is quite a while ago. But anyway, yeah, Peter really also felt that you have to balance what it is that you love to do and what people want to buy.
That's right.
And so he knew that people wanted to see his hypnosis show.
That's right. And Peter was a friend and a mentor as well, and I absolutely loved and adored Peter, and and he loved doing the magic show, the big magic show, the impossible show, and so what he'd do is he'd go out and he'd do the hypnosis and the smaller show to make the money so he could lose it the next year because he loved doing the big show. I mean, he loved doing the other show, but he loved doing the big show more. So, see, in that, again, that's kind of to the point, is if you're not doing what you love, not only will it demonstrate itself in your business and to the people who you hope to support and serve, it makes a difference in the results you get. Because if you're not jacked up and excited about doing it, it will come through, whether you want it to or not. You're not that good an actor, I promise you. And I mean everybody. I don't mean you, Randy, you, Claude, but yeah. Yeah. I
mean, one of the nicest compliments that I received from people after a show is that we just enjoy watching you enjoy it up there, and I truly do. I mean, I just love it, and especially when I'm doing a different show. So now I do the mentalism show, I do the hypnosis show, I do speaking, and I want to pick up on a conversation that you and I had in our brief chat that we put out there last week, and just continue on a thread. I talked a little bit about value and getting getting paid and negotiating and whether you're receiving.
I apologize just for a second. We're having a little noise. Hey, Claude, could you do us a favor?
Yep.
Just mute your mic, and if you have something to say, jump in by all means. But
okay.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Go ahead, Randy. My apologies.
Sure. No problem. I'm getting a kick actually of looking the notes from Brett there in the Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
You should also become a mentalist and a speaker, Brett. Why stop there? And learn a little bit of close-up magic, and I'll tell you why right now, because it goes to what I was going to say.
Yes.
I find myself when I see people talking about marketing and what you should do and what you shouldn't do, I almost always find myself being on the opposite side of that. And let me give you a really good example. I've read, I've been taught through other people teaching you how to negotiate and market. If you're going to take away part of your fee, take away something as well. Mm-hmm. I don't agree. I've never agreed with that. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think.
Either.
I think you can, and this is how I do it. I have a standard fee for different shows, and it kind of depends on where it is and what the show is going to be about, like how long of it what I'm doing, whether it's like a 30 or 90-minute show, I'm doing mentalism or hypnosis, when it is, and how I feel that day when they contact me. And that's not actually that's not good advice. That's me, because I'm moody, right? One day I just love it. I got to do it. I don't care. The next day, it's got to be worth it. But really, I really look at the scenario. But there's a range, and there's not a big variance among the range. But here's the thing. So I have my standard fee. If they pay my standard fee that I quote, then I always give them more. Mm-hmm. When I'm there, here's how I'll do it. Let's say I'm flying into a place and I'm doing a corporate event. I'm doing their after dinner show. They've invited me to come for dinner. I usually politely say no, thank you, but I don't really eat much before the show, and it's true, and I like just to have no space. I usually have a shower or something and refresh. But typically, I'll have to fly in earlier, and here's another thing. I'll fly in that day if I'm not getting paid my full fee. I'll fly in the day before if I am, and there's more value there. I'll explain why. So again, a lot of people won't agree with what I'm saying. This is how I operate, and that's why I guess that's all I have to offer here, really. So I'll fly in. Let's say they're paying my fee. I'm going to fly in the day before just to make sure there's no hitches, no matter. I'm properly rested. I'm there. So I'm there anyway. Typically, there's a cocktail hour. So let's say they booked me for my fee, and the performing close-up magic is not something I actively sell. But I know I'm around anyway, and the cocktail hour is, say, 5 to 6, and then I'm going to be on at 8, or 6 to 7, then I'm on at 9. Typically, that's more like what it's like. So I'll say, hey, I'm going to pop by your cocktail hour. I'm going to do a little bit of magic for people, just because. Wow, thanks. I'll do that. I'll go back to my room. I'll order some room service. I'll have a shower. I'll come back, and I'll do my show. Now, that's something if they wanted to hire me for, I would typically charge an extra $2,000-3,000, but I'm giving them extra value. Now, if they, for good reason, they it's a smaller event and they just couldn't come up with my fee and they're shy a couple grand to make it work, or maybe I have to pick up my own airfare or something like that, which sometimes I'll do. I'll just say, okay, it's the same fee, I'll throw in airfare, just if we're negotiating. But then I'm going to fly in that morning. I'm still going to do a great show, but there's a little bit of extra insurance coming the day before. And I'm not going to be offering to do close-up magic. And I'm going to come and do an amazing show. They're going to absolutely love it. I'm still going to do more. If they book me for 50 minutes, it's going to be 55 or 60. And there's another thing, too, is before the show, depending on how long they book me for, I'll say, is it okay to go longer? I won't be going and doing a show if I begrudge them. So I won't take a booking that's so below my standard fee that I'm going to get there and I'm going to think I'm only giving them what they, up to the minute. That won't happen. I won't do that. They're going to get 100% service. They're going to get 100% of me when I'm doing my show, because I won't go to that level where I'm going to feel that way. And that's a mistake I see performers making as well, that they'll do something to go begrudgingly, and it's not just performers. You hire somebody to do some work around your house or whatever, and if you grind them down or whatever, they're going to maybe do the job, but they're not going to like you. Or if you're buying a shirt, great. You're going to maybe not that you would negotiate for a shirt, but if you're buying something, a car, and you're going to drive away for the car, you don't want to be a jerk, and you don't want them to hate you when you come back. But you're taking it away. They're not like there working, with you. So, you negotiate. But when I'm dealing with someone, like, I'll never negotiate with my dentist. I don't want him ever to be upset with me. I'm going to bring him a bottle of scotch during the holidays. So anyway, I take that same sort of thinking, me as the service provider, when I'm doing stuff for other people.
Right. Yeah. Well. Our first core covenant commitment in my business, as well as our coaching organization, is real simple, and that is never leave the site of a human interaction without creating value, and that transcends into or transfers right into our business. And I'm exactly where you are. I believe just add massive value, produce and create results in advance, and help them get more of what they want, need, desire, and deserve. And of course, understand also that we're not in the prostitution business, so we can't be giving away our goods, but we're also deliver top grade A1 service. So every time they walk away, they go, "Wow, that was smoking. That was awesome." And so I applaud you. And again, it's not the norm. You're right. It is not the norm. It's like no, we're going to do the takeaway. We're going to do this technique or this strategy or this marketing hoo-ha or whatever it is. Come on.
No, it's not necessary. It never has been. It never gets you anywhere when you do that. Just be real and, be there and be responsive. What people probably want to know about how to get booked by agents, and it's the same way you get booked by anybody. be prompt to reply, be professional, don't just give short answers. You don't have to don't do some long, sales letter and, anything like that. But answer their questions fully, be there, be open, and don't try to make it look like you're bigger than you are, and all that kind of stuff. So the odd time I'll send work to other people, and I don't care how good they are. I mean, they've got to be a good performer. But if they're the best performer in the world, I remember actually, I haven't looked at my book for 15 years, but I do remember writing this, and this is just coming out because this is really what I feel. If performer A is really great in his show, but he's amazing in getting back to you 100%, he's going to be there. He's going to do a great job. He's going to dress well. And we should talk about that as well. Or the other guy or woman is they're going to get a standing ovation. The show's going to be better. But you don't know for sure they're going to show up. And you don't know what their attitude's going to be like. And it was really difficult to get a reply. It took them 3 days to email you back. I'll take the other performer myself. Any event buyer would, as long as you're only going to book somebody who's going to do a good job. But there's a lot of value in that, and people get a sense of trust of you, and they get that the second they enter, they see you performing, your website, how you dress. Let's talk about that. I wear a pair now. I've settled on my look, after all these years, and a lot of it is to be practical. And this may sound like it's going against what I just said, but it isn't, and I'll explain why. I wear dark blue jeans. I'll wear a shirt similar to this, just like a collar casual shirt. Long sleeve if I'm not wearing a blazer. Sometimes I'll even wear a T-shirt, like a black T-shirt, but not a V-neck, where's the Magic Show dude type thing, like a nice T-shirt and a nice blazer. Now, when I say nice, I'm wearing jeans, but they're $250 jeans, and you can tell that they're nice jeans. They're not just scruffy jeans or that kind of thing. The shirt that I'm wearing will be crisp, and even if it's a T-shirt, it's again, I'm going to equate things to money, but it's not a $10 T-shirt. It's a $100 T-shirt. And again, these are and the blazer is in an Armani $1,200 or $1,800 blazer. Now, so I can go in jeans and boots and T-shirt and a blazer and look like $1 million, but be really comfortable and not look like I'm trying to dress to impress or anything like that. Now that's what I'm comfortable with. I like it as practical too, because sometimes if I am flying in and out or whatever, or if I want to go for dinner after or before or something, I don't have to change because that's how I normally dress anyway. And sometimes not the blazer, but so I'm comfortable.
No Burt Wonderstone outfit? Come on now.
No.
Rhinestones everywhere.
During the last 4 decades of performing, I've gone through different types of dress. Some was pretty funny, especially looking back in the 80s. I've seen some of yours too, and so
we all see that.
Yeah, for sure. But here's my point. It really doesn't matter what you wear. It just Gene Snob. I love this Brett guy. You should join in. He's about the only guy commenting though. Maybe he's the only one here besides us, which is okay. But my point is, if you're going to dress jeans and a T-shirt, make sure they're nice, and no matter what you're wearing. I see a lot of guys in cheap suits, and you're not going to you're going to see, or you go to their website and it's a mess, or their videos is just hard to hear or see. They can't charge thousands of dollars for a show or expect to have a lot of people, corporate buyers or theater buyers or anybody with a budget to hire them. Right. They're not ready, and that's okay as long as they understand that they're not ready if that's where they want to go. If they're happy staying there, then that's cool.
Right.
It's not what I would coach somebody or mentor somebody to do, though. I would mentor them to always raise the bar and look at everything they do. And that's what I'm talking about as far as adding value from the moment they go to your site or speak to you on the phone to beforehand and getting there and maybe offering something extra and looking good, doing a great show, getting the standing ovation and all of that stuff.
Right.
Then afterwards, sticking around, especially in a hypnosis show, make sure everybody's okay. And be there to shake a few hands and that sort of thing, and then disappear. Don't hang out and try to pick up chicks or get drunk or anything. And then follow up with a nice thank you, and connect with them on LinkedIn. And when you see something, I did this. I was performing in Montreal a couple months ago. I was in a jazz bar. One of my clients who books me a lot, and even if they hadn't booked me ever, but I thought of this person. He loves jazz, and I don't normally go to a jazz bar, but I was thinking, man, he would love this. I took a couple pictures, did a little video, sent it to him, right there and then. Without, that was it. Just like that. I do stuff like that all the time.
Right.
I don't do it because I expect anything, or I do it because I just naturally think of them, and it takes 2 seconds to do, and why not? But that's one of the reasons I'm successful.
Exactly. And again, I say this almost every single day. It's like, if these people who pay you, who happen to be paying you, were your very best friend, how would you serve them as a business owner? You wouldn't market to them. You wouldn't send them a long form sales letter. You wouldn't, be aloof and not answer their calls. You would just say, hey, Randy, man, great to hear from you. And did you get that video I just sent you? And I mean, you'd be professional by every stretch of the imagination, but you'd be friendly. You'd be engaging. You'd be looking out for their best interest. And so I very, very, very elegantly and eloquently stated, Randy. I really appreciate your perspective, because so few, and you have the hat also of professional marketer, and you also teach people how to be professional marketers. But it all starts with, it's a people-to-people business. There's B2B, B2C, C2B, which is business to business, business to consumer. For us, it's all P2P, people-to-people. I don't care whether you're the CEO or CTO or CFO of a Fortune 100 corporation, or if you're a frontline professional, you still pretty much have the same triumphs and tribulations and challenges and celebrations, and you pretty much get dressed the same way, all things considered. And it's just be people. Just love on the folks that for all intents and purposes, love on you. I'm with you 100,000,000%. I mean to overstate it, but I just really value and appreciate why I wanted to kind of put you front and center in front of my audience, because they need to hear this stuff over and over again, that it's really not about, technique and strategy. There is good strategy. There is good of being professional, and how you dress and how you present and how you connect and communicate and ultimately convert people into a long-term profit-producing relationship, because they're in business after all. But
right.
So speaking of that, is there, there's so many ways of reaching out to people and serving them with your marketing message, telling your unique story and getting people to your website or to your, whatever methodology. What are some of your favorites? How do you kind of connect with people on a regular basis? What's your preferred modalities, if you will, ways of reaching out with your marketing?
Right. Well, a lot of my steady repeat business comes from agents and event planners and of different forms. So I just make sure we're connected on all the social networks, and I don't necessarily, and then if something comes to mind for that person, I'll shoot something out to them. So I think that's great. I mean, the agents and the speaker bureaus and the event planners, those are the the geese that lay the golden eggs. They continue to produce for you. And so you treat them right, then you're going to be in good shape. So that's probably my favorite, because it's way easier to maintain a relationship with one client and continue to grow with that person than find a new client. It's less expensive and all those things. So as far as fielding new clients, I do everything. I mentioned the other day too. Again, contrary to what most people believe they should do, is I go on those gig sites. Okay, I'll give you an example. I had an inquiry from one of them today, and I quoted my standard fee. My standard fee is 10 grand, and so I said I'm 10 grand, and for this particular one, I'm not interested for doing it for less. I'm not interested in covering my own air or hotel or anything, just because of where and when it is. Yeah. So there's no chance that I'm going to vary from that one. But what I did say in the email back was, if that doesn't work for you, let me know, and I can recommend, somebody. Let me know what your budget is. Now, I've used that strategy before, and I still would, if I'm thinking, if we're a little bit off, maybe they have 7,000 or whatever, maybe I'll do it. In this case, it's not, just because of the circumstances. It's just not worth it for me where it's located in the situation. So I'm not going to. But either way, that works. It works because now I can get work for somebody else, and I can help them out, and hopefully they'll think of me as well. And depending on the scenario, maybe I'll book it through my company and maintain a commission. So that can help pay for some of the advertising I do, because that stuff costs money.
Sure.
And it's also all straightforward. Everybody knows what everybody's getting and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to make a habit of doing it. It's hardly worth it. But the odd one here or there to help people out and to help fund the advertising, it's fine.
Right.
I mean, as you know, I used to have a full-blown agency, so I certainly know how to do it. It's just not something that you want to bother with these days.
Yeah. Yep. I even got your course on the agency thing. So. Yeah, I get everything. And my hallucination is that you're probably very much the same. You have probably everybody's course or insider information or have connections with those people, and you're constantly learning, as Tony says, constant and never-ending improvement. Can I, right? And
absolutely, yeah. And it's because I love it. I'm just passionate about it. I want to know how to do things and what's going on, and discover the latest. I'm on it every day. And it's fun. So yeah, I'm buying other people's stuff. I'm investing in myself and all that sort of thing constantly. And I want to know.
Of course.
The only thing I do avoid.
Right.
One thing I don't buy so much is other entertainers' marketing stuff, because I don't want to be influenced by it in what I'm teaching for other people. Plus, frankly, it's not going to apply to me. I've got more bookings than I can use. I get every day. I have a dozen options of requests that I want to have a simple story. I'm not available, which is a lot of them, to the scenario that I just described. Sure. And also, surprisingly enough, I actually don't. And I'm not recommending this, by the way, but for me, I don't really follow up. The reason I don't is because I have enough deal flow coming in that I'm constantly and it's all templated, right? I mean, I do personalize this stuff, but it's either this isn't something that I'm interested in doing, just because I know they're just so way below kind of what I'm going to charge or the type of show I want to do, or it's a response like that, and I've got enough of those. When they come back to me, they're just ready to book, and I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to do song and dance, and it supports my positioning. And as you know, I position myself as somewhat of a celebrity, not a household name, right. But I'm somebody who's done enough in the media and enough shows, and I'm an entertainer that I can do that. And so you wouldn't have that person, chasing you and sending you a series of emails saying, "Hey, you should book me now because I'm getting booked up," or all that kind of stuff. Now, that's not a bad strategy for somebody who doesn't have constant deal flow and their positioning is different, and I would help somebody with that. I'd suggest that they would do it. It's just not me. And everybody has their own different thing, their comfort level and where they're at and how they position themselves. Right.
Yeah, but if you want insight from somebody who's successful or somebody who's barely surviving versus wildly thriving, who are you going to want to pay attention to? And to me the answer is obvious. I mean, not that you can learn from everybody. You can learn what not to do as well as what to do. But talk about the balance between online and offline marketing and how that plays a role in your business structure.
Well, the offline marketing is when I'm out doing the show, and so every time I do a show, there's always people who come up and want me to do something else, and quite often it's actually the same company, like saying they want me to do something else for them, not necessarily somebody from another company who's in the audience. It's quite often it's like, hey, that was really cool what you did. Can you do something else, for us next October? And yeah, sure. And what do you want to do? And then they'll tell me what they have going on, and I'll suggest a different show than what they just saw. Right. In fact, fairly recently I did something, and I did my hypnosis show, And then afterwards, they said, if you could teach our salespeople to do that, it'd be great. And I said, I actually can. I can teach them how to use hypnotic language and how to build rapport, as I did at the beginning of my show, in order to get the people, to trust me, and I can teach them how to get people laughing so they relax and like you, and then I can teach you how to make statements that they're going to agree to, which is, marketing sales 101, the yes statements and stuff, but I can teach them how to do it in such a way that it's natural, and essentially they become in somewhat of a trance. Yeah, I can do that. And great, what could you do? Could you come for a full day and do that? Sure, it's 25 grand. Okay. They just paid me 15 to do a hypnosis show, and the reason that was 15 is because it was really far. It took me like a day and a half to get there. But so now that's quite often, that's my offline marketing, is finding a way to continue to work with them and raise the bar with them. And of course there are other people. Sometimes if it's an association, then you have a variety of people from different companies, and then they're going to say, hey, can come to ours. And so that's that. I did one direct mail campaign just when I launched my career again, just over a year ago, and I sent out just a simple letter to agents and event planners and companies that I had done shows for in the past, and
Sure.
and then the rest then is just being on the different sites and doing some AdWords, and I'm starting to play with Facebook, and you can do LinkedIn, but again, one of the reasons when I say play, I'm literally playing. The only reason I'm doing right now, we're playing, and when I'm going to do some weekend stuff, that's playing for me. It's all just playing, and so I'll play around and I'll try different things. Like I haven't done one of these live things right now, so I was excited to do this with you, and it's cool. It's like, wow, I've done something new. I'll look in more, and you're great and very gracious to host this, and I might want to host one for you maybe one day, and then I would like to learn how to do that. It doesn't look that hard, but doing it the first time is always a little bit more difficult. So I'll dive into these things. Brett, he's asked a question now.
Right? He has a great question. He says, your testimonials are great, John Travolta, Ryan Stiles, and so on. How do you get testimonials like that?
Okay. Well, let me be specific on those two right there, and that should likely answer the question. I did a show for John Travolta when he was in Vancouver shooting Look Who's Talking 2. It was quite a while ago. In fact, his son, late son Jet, was there. He was just a youngster, basically I think 2 years old or so, playing on the piano, and it was John and his son, and his wife was just so lovely as well. She was there, and about 3 other people. That was it. They were just having a little sort of hanging out, and an event planner who handles a lot of things, who I still work with, booked me to do a private show for them. So I came in and did a show, and asked him for a testimonial, and that's how I got it. That's how I got in, was being booked to perform for him. And I said, do you mind providing a testimonial for me? And I think he said a few things, and he said, you can use any of these. I don't remember if it's the one. Oh no, one of them ones. He says, you're the best dressed magician I've ever seen. He said, and I was just doing magic back then, and before I was even doing mentalism. So you can use that one. And he was just like the nicest guy, and then he wrote down a few things, including the one I used. And then Ryan Stiles, I was on a TV show with Ryan years ago, and so again, just hit him up for a testimonial, because he's a real celebrity. He's not somebody who's just positioning himself as a celebrity like me. But so there's that. All the corporate ones, again, like I'll do a show. Often they're unsolicited. Recently, I used to always just ask. Now I usually just get an email from them, and they'll send me what is pretty much a testimonial, and sometimes I'll reply. And I was going to write to you anyway. You beat me to it. Thank you so much for having me. Do you mind if I use that as a testimonial? And would you mind maybe structuring it a little differently? I don't even bother so much anymore now. I've got so many in my inbox that are just tagged now testimonials, way more than I can use. Right. So bottom line, go out there, do shows, get exposure, do a good job, and ask.
Right?
Don't be afraid to ask.
Right. Yeah, because the answer is always no if you fail to ask.
Yeah, and of course they're going to want to. I mean, it's just like they'll go on LinkedIn and they'll just do it. Now it's easy. You don't have to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No killer top secret hypnotic handshake or mojo methodology for for any of this stuff. It's just being human and you know, being a nice guy, asking, and you know, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting next, kind of thing. You know.
I've only had one person say no, and that was Claude Van Damme, and it was kind of interesting. I wasn't performing for him. That's why probably he never saw me perform. I was at a club that I performed magic for every weekend, doing magic, close-up magic and stuff. This is again a million years ago, and he was there, and so I thought I would go up to him and do something for him. I was going to do like a card trick for him, and then I was going to hit him up for a testimonial. So he didn't actually say no. I didn't even get that far. As I walked towards him, and I actually tapped him on the shoulder, and I've never felt such a hard surface on a human before. The guy was so solid, and I just tapped him. Right away, some sort of bodyguard kind of said, go away, or something. Like he just like shushed me off, and I said, okay. I mean, he didn't know I was working there, and he didn't care or whatever. But anyway, that's not even a good example. But,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you know, you put those comedy testimonials in, like your mother says, "Stop playing with your food," and you put Claude Van Damme, "Get away from me," you know.
Yeah, I think I actually did do that. I honestly think I did. At one point, you know, back then, I may have done that because I remember, I had one, Mom Eat Peas, and then it was either I had a similar situation with Sean Penn, again at the same club where he never had the opportunity to see me perform, and. Yeah, he's just like, and he was just being like really kind of rushing through the club. Everybody, get out of my way. So they gave me the idea to do that too. But I pulled out all those. I just don't have space for them. I want to save my real estate for the real testimonials, the good ones.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And until you have them, though, you know, fun stuff like that is amusing for people. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So again, no Toxic Mojo, you know, special handshake. It's just,
you know,
life in the industry.
There are definitely, when it comes down to the technical aspects of doing some of the marketing, there's definitely some tips and tricks. That are, you know, secret handshake stuff. As far as sources for bookings, that kind of stuff, there are as well. Not stuff that I'm going to share on a public forum. But you know what? Most of 80% of what really matters is just everything we're talking about right now. The other stuff is for the people who have already gotten to a certain level and they just need to get to that next level, that they're already doing the stuff we're talking about now. They already know this.
Sure.
For those people, they're ready for that next step. The other people, that information will be completely useless to them and only harmful for people who actually should be using that information.
Right. Well, I got to be honest with you. We've had a couple of conversations, and it inevitably happens in every marketing niche and industry that, you know, you get the raised eyebrows, people saying, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and when are we going to drop the bomb, this top secret, you know, the stealth offer, and the stealth offer here is, you know, free cool stuff, $297 free downloadable is how cool is that? Tell us about. You know, Secrets of the Millionaire Magician and how they can get this 100% no strings attached free gift. And by the way, there's no back end offer here.
I'm almost afraid to, because, you know, we were talking privately earlier about the haters out there. It's like, you know, but anyway, let's not go there.
Hey, listen, I'm brutally honest. If I want your money, I will ask for it. I will let you know up front, you know, we're going to give you some value, and at the end, we're going to make you an opportunity. That's it, you know, but no, most of the time. Just
all right, so lay it out here as it is. If you go to Charach.com, CHARACH.com, you go to that site, first of all, you're going to be exposed to 3 things that you could spend money on in their training,
right.
And that's there, and you can choose to look at it or not, or you can go straight down an inch or so without looking at that and get my book for free, The Millionaire Magician downloadable version. I no longer sell it. I pulled it off the market about 5 years ago because, frankly, a lot of the information, many of the links, and some of the internet strategies are just no longer valid. But the important stuff, that, you know, the mindset and how to like stuff we've been talking about today is very important. That's the foundation. All that stuff is in there. Anyway, it's yours for free. The way that you access it is you will need to put in your name and your email to get it, but I'm not going to get your email unless you click opt in or something like that, or join mailing list. If you don't click that button, you're never going to get into my system where I'm going to email you nothing. You can just help yourself to the book, and that's the end, beginning and the end of our relationship. I'll wish you well with the book. You'll never hear from me again unless you just come across an ad or an interview or something. I'm going overboard here, but we had some people who were like really skeptical about this, and that's fine. I understand because of that's just not who we are, and anyway. Oh, Brett said something. What's Brett saying? Will the training?
Brett's our guy.
Yeah, it's just actually just I think it's Claude, Dean, Randy, and Brett here today, and and my buddy Jim I think was dropping by. Anyway.
Other people here. It's just not. They're not. They're just taking in the chocolatey goodness that is Randy Charach.
Awesome. So that's it. That's the thing. That's it. There's no autoresponder set up. There's no one-time offer. There's no countdown. There's nothing. The only thing I will say is I'm going to take that down. It's not going to be up forever. It might be up for about another month or so or two, and then I'm going to take down that book. Taking in the great. Oh, good. We have people speak up. Yeah, speak up. I want to see. It'd be nice. Dean and Claude and I are here. We're giving of ourselves. So just at least say hi in there. I'd love to just say hello. Right. What you think? In the chat box there. Oh, there's Doug. Hey, man. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas as well. I'll be speaking, if we have any PEA members, Psychic Entertainer Association members, I'm going to be speaking at the PEA conference in Las Vegas. Thank you, Doug, for arranging that for me. And I'll be speaking on 2 topics there. Well, one for sure, probably the other one as well. This is kind of a last-minute thing. And so they were gracious to find some space for me. So I'm going to talk on business, of course, show business, the business of show. And I'm also going to talk on hypnosis.
Oh, good.
So I am at Charach.com as well. If you wanted to go and look at those other things, they're there for you. No one's making you do it. But if you want to have a look, I'm doing a couple of live weekend events at my home here in Vancouver, and they're limited to 9 people. One of them is already getting a little full, and that is the show business boot camp. And so for that weekend, I'm going to teach you everything way beyond what we're talking about now. It's for those people who are already here, want to get to the next level. I have one weekend where I'm teaching hypnosis. You'll literally be able to leave here doing a hypnosis show because there's only going to be 9 of us. We're going to get straight to it. I'm going to teach you right how to do it. And I have one teaching mentalism. This is for people who are not a mentalist already. So anyway, there's the ad, and there's the stuff, and the free book is at Charach.com.
Right. And Dougie Poo, you're on my list. Literally, I don't know if you can see that, but you're on my list. I'm going to reach out and connect with you. I have some stuff I want to chat with you about, too, so I'm glad Doug's a good man. So, yes, cool. So, again, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity and people, who are, just not so much beginning, but fully established, credible professional acts. And if you were to leave them with maybe a strategic insight, because, how can you be friends with people you don't know? How do you raise the interest and attention of somebody to start, develop, and build that profit-producing relationship so they will eventually come around and see how nice you are and book you?
Right. Are we talking online or off?
It does not matter. Whatever you find is the most useful for you.
You be transparent. So this works for both. Be just really clear. People are so overloaded with so much going on. Like me personally, I have 4 kids. I have a wife. I have my health to look after. I have to exercise every day. I want to meditate every day. So I have my spiritual practice. I have my career, performing, coaching, educating. I have my community. I have constantly phone calls. And I'm not saying just me. I know you're the same, and this is my point. Is that we're all just bombarded. We have such busy lives and pinging and pinging and all this kind of stuff with our phones constantly and our computers and all that. Just get right to it with them. Connect with them quickly, deeply by being honest, without any BS, just straightforward. When people go to my website, it's really clear what I want them to do. I want them to watch my video, and I want them to fill out my form. Very simple. When I meet people in person, it's really clear what I want them to do. I want them just to be honest with me, and that's it.
Right.
And that's all I care about. I just care about honesty, integrity, just no BS. So just be open, transparent. Try. It's just the hardest thing to do. Is try to be as simple as you can. So the more complicated you make any process, whether it's a personal interaction, a conversation, and I tend to ramble, so I'm not great here, but at least I'm speaking from the heart at all times. So it's that, if it's a person, if it's a direct mail, if it's an ad, if it's your website, if it's your video, make it clean and simple and straight to the point, and try to understand what it is that they want before you put any of that stuff together.
Right. Ryan in Calgary, he goes, I didn't want to brag, but about that time that Ryan Stiles watched me do a card trick, ain't no thing.
That's cool. Now, Ryan and I we did a TV show together on CBC called Comedy College before he moved to LA. Now, you also mentioned one other thing, and I know you're joking there, Ryan, but in case anybody else is concerned, you put you agreed to the newsletter. There's no newsletter. It just says mailing list. I'm using a new system for this. It's Kajabi, and to deliver the stuff and to be able to get there's a membership site in there, and so the people who come to my my weekend events, then I just have a way of it's a CRM sort of anyway. I haven't put together a newsletter. There's nothing. You're not actually probably going to ever hear from me, to be honest.
Except if there's something cool coming up, like another interview, or certainly for those folks who do sign up and want to follow you and want to hear from you, then it's a good thing. Yeah,
maybe, but there's just in the last couple of days, literally a couple hundred people have gone to that site, and I do look at the stats, and I can see that most of them click that box to go to the mailing list, and I almost feel like I need to mail them something. But just like I said earlier, with clients looking to book me for a show for several $1,000s, I'm not out there aggressively marketing. I'm just too busy with my life. I don't need to, and I figure if people want me, they're going to come to me. And so that maybe one day I'll send a little note to everybody who agreed, say, hey,
you signed up,
don't expect it, and don't worry that you're going to get a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Any parting value, wisdom, insight that you want to leave?
There is. One of the most important tools that we have to market ourselves is our video, our demo video.
Oh, brilliant.
And I don't see a lot of them just because I really don't spend my time looking at other people's demos. But the few that I have looked at when I've considered sending work to somebody directly or booking them out, it's really disappointing. First of all, nobody's going to watch your video for more than a couple minutes. So keep it to a couple minutes, and it doesn't matter how good it is. I have a really good video. My video is compelling. I have several videos, and my videos are targeted depending on what they're looking for, whether they're looking for a magician, a comedian, a mentalist, or a hypnotist, or a speaker. I have different videos for that. None of them are more than 2 minutes, other than maybe a few seconds over. They're fast-paced. They're interesting. They're like if you're watching a rock video or a TV or even a TV show or anything, every few seconds something has to change up. I just find these videos, they're too long, they're poor quality, and nobody's watching them. I'm telling you, and I can tell you for sure. Go to your stats on YouTube and see how long when they're dropping off,
right?
And you're going to be upset. Use that information and realize you have to cut it shorter because it's too long. It's more than 2 minutes. It's too long, and that's 2 minutes better be great.
Great.
Use what you have. But anyway, the important part of that is keep it moving, keep it short, and use what you have. If you only have lousy footage, you have to have a video. I mean, and then just keep getting a better video. Make it your focus until you have a great video, and make that your focus because that's your primary tool for marketing yourself. That's my #1 thing, and that's why when people come to my site, I want them to watch the video, then contact me if they like what they saw. There's no point in them contacting me if they haven't seen the video, because I'm not going to sit there and explain what my show is about. I'm going to tell them to go watch the video and then contact me.
And
What's
to be
the point?
honest, to be fair, your video really kind of does one thing, and that is not to close or convert them to the sale. It's just to get them to raise their hand and take them to the next step, which is entering into a beginning relationship with you. Is that fair to say?
Well, yes. If like, yeah. So if you have a video that is sort of like, you should see how he can, do. And I'm sorry if this is you, anybody listening. I shouldn't say it in such a way. If you have a video with like the voice of God, the voiceover, and then listing all these things and all that stuff, that's not. It's got to be entertaining. That's not entertaining. Entertainment and education are the same thing, and you need to entertain them when you're educating them. So the way to get them interested in you is to entertain them, not to try to sell them. So put your best stuff on there and make it entertaining. They have to enjoy watching the video. It should not be salesy at all, other than adding some testimonials. But you add the testimonials in order to share that enthusiasm from those people who are talking about your show, and just to transfer, because sales is a transfer of enthusiasm, and you don't want to be the one. You want other people. That's why you use testimonials. You use other people to, like, that social proof, and it keeps the energy up of the video. So that's why you do it. Our friend Brett wrote, in the promo videos I see, most hypnotists show people getting hypnotized and not what is in it for the client. Well, if the promo of them is entertaining and showing people getting hypnotized, that's what's in it for the client, because the client, their job is to hire the act that people are later going to say, wow, you did a great job for hiring that act, and we really enjoyed it. So if they see people enjoying a hypnotist hypnotizing people, if that's entertaining, if that's the most entertaining clips that they have, then so be it. Maybe that's all they have to work with. It may not necessarily be such a bad thing. It just depends on how it's presented.
Right. Again, and the adage, perhaps, I'm not sure I believe this 100,000,000%, but something is better than nothing, unless that something is really awful and repelling. But for all intents and purposes, something is better than nothing. So if you have crap footage, start with the crap footage, grow up, move up. Improve.
Well, hey, I mean, that's for sure. And let's talk about that. But also, just Brad, I don't think we're on a super time frame, are we? We didn't promise anybody.
No, we're on your time. Whatever.
Okay, cool. Whatever you want. So, Brad, I actually agree. I would think that just watching people get hypnotized over and over again could be kind of boring after the first 10, 15 seconds. Right. That would. It's not entertaining. But don't go the other way and then try to think what's in it for the client, because you already know what's in it for the client. I'm telling you right now, it's that they want those pats on the back, that they did a good job, or they don't want to get fired, or they don't want to be any people to hate them because they did a lousy job of choosing the entertainer. That's all they care about. So if they see a demo of you entertaining an audience and people raving about it, it's gonna make them feel. And if they enjoy it themselves personally, I guess all the time people, oh, it was so funny, like I loved it and all that. It's great. They've become a fan. They've enjoyed it. And that's what's in it for them. It's entertainment. If you're a speaker and you're delivering a message, and then for sure there's got to be the content. It still needs to be entertaining, and there has to be that as well. But it really boils down to the same thing. So, Dean, you made a great point, as you always do, and use what you have. So, if my first video, when I did those shows, and the mentalism shows at Yuck Yucks for the fundraiser, just on a whim, I thought, I'm going to video these just so at least I'll have some footage, because I kind of threw away a lot of my stuff. I kept some records and some clippings and that kind of stuff, but I got rid of a lot of my old VHS and even literally beta from TV stations. I had a box of betas. Those got thrown away when I moved into a different house about 10 years ago or something, but I kind of regretted that. But I thought, I'm going to video this, and I got something to show my kids and that sort of thing. And that was my that ended up, when I decided I'm going to do more, that was my first. I'm probably on my 8th incarnation of my demo videos now, after only a year and a half. So that's all I had, and it was decent. It was too long. It was 3.5 minutes, and I cut that from 5. Then when I went and looked at my stats and saw people were bailing out in 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, I thought I got to bring it down. So then I brought it down, and then I started. Now I'm taking this seriously. So when I did my show, my very first hypnosis show on the cruise ship, and when I did that instead of the mentalism, I got that videoed, that footage is actually, much of it is on my current video today, because that was my first show, but I had it videoed. So then now I had like some mentalism and I said some hypnosis. Now I make a habit. Most of my shows that I do, they're mostly corporate shows, and they almost always have like an iMag, or like they have image magnification. So they have two big screens in the back, and they usually have two cameras following me, so people can see. So now I'll always in advance, I have a one-page simple rider, and on it says, I encourage you to video my recording, but I must receive the video as well. I speak to them about it, and I say, you're doing the iMag, ask them to video it, you keep that as well, and then I get that. So now I'm all of a sudden collecting all this footage. I have now, just like testimonials, I have more footage than I can use. And it's become quite a good video, and it might get better. I'll continue, if something great, amazing happens, or something better, or whatever. Oh, that just reminds me, I did a show for 8,000 people recently, and they didn't send me the video. I have to follow up on that, because that would be a good video.
Yeah, that's just by sheer volume of crowd, that'll be an interesting clip at least.
Yeah, but anyway, so use what you have, and if it's not great, at least it's better than nothing in every respect.
Well, and the technology has changed so greatly anymore, and that, hey, listen, if you need a new video, go do a killer show someplace. Don't charge for it. Pack it out with your friends and family and anybody you can imagine it, and just video the crap out of it. And you got new, fresh footage. I mean, goodness sakes, our pocket production devices you can do so much. And I'm not saying that's the only solution, but
it's a solution.
Yeah, it is a next level solution for sure. If again, something is better than nothing kind of idea.
Yeah.
And
well, so I think, let's see if anybody else has any other questions or comments, then go ahead. Otherwise, Claude, anything you want to say, and then we should probably just wrap it up. I'm hungry. I'm going to go for dinner. I'm tired now.
Yeah. That's just a question. If an entertainer watching or listening in doesn't have a video at all, any tips on just getting started, like on certain things that you would include?
Yeah, like what Dean just said. So go and do a show. Depending on who your audience is, your target audience. So if you're wanting to do school shows, go to a school. If you want to do corporate, go to a chamber of commerce. And because then you're going to get right away. You can just say, look, at your next meeting, I'm going to come in and bring a camera. I'm going to do a free show for you. So go to that audience that you want to target. Video it, even if it's one camera. And if you have no money, figure out how to edit using an iMac or whatever Mac, and just put it together. Does that answer the question? Getting the video footage, or was it something else, Claude?
No, I think you covered. I just someone's hoping to get started, but that's a good point.
Good.
I understood that because actually Claude just spoke in Canadian, so I actually completely understood what he just said. And, he said that I answered the question.
There was a little technical, chipmunk language there for a second, but yeah, and of course, testimonials, and get people in their range of excitement, what we call in state. After they've just seen your show, they're jacked up and excited, and they want to. And that point as they're walking out of the theater, or when they come up to you, say, "That was amazing! Oh, would you mind if I just capture that on my tiny little camera, and so I can help other people, whatever." And social proof is a big deal.
Right. I'm going to do one more thing here, which may be perceived as a plug, but that's okay because it's just practical. When you go to Charach.com, if you go to the weekend that I'm offering where I'm going to teach hypnosis, if you do click on that, again, there's no opt-in or anything like that. You're either going to just register, contact me, then register, or not. So don't worry about being trapped into anything. But what I have at the top of that is a video of my hypnosis. My current demo for my hypnosis show is at the top of that page. If you go to the mentalism training, same thing at the top is my current demo video for my mentalism. I have another one where I offer both, and I have the speaking one, but those are the two that are really you should look at. If you want to learn more of kind of how I do things, and a 20-minute video of me just sharing more stuff, then you'll look at the video on the top of the weekend where I'm going to help people get to the next level in their business. So you'll see those three there in that order. There's the business one, and then the hypnosis and the mentalism. Click on those, look at them, watch those 3 videos for that content, and that's it. They're right there, sitting there for
Absolutely
you.
instructive.
Yeah, and feel free to model. Like, go ahead and copy. I don't care. What do I care? You know,
Yeah.
the same
It's not
form.
like you're going to appear in my video.
Yeah. I don't worry about that. I never worry about competition or any of that stuff. It's
Right.
once I have more work than I can handle. I'm happy, and so you should get in that situation as well. I don't mean you Dean, but listening, and just go ahead, do what you have to do, and get out there and just be good enough that people want you. Do some few smart moves as far as marketing. Do a few things. Be transparent, and you'll be fine.
Right.
So yeah, if people want to reach out to me, then go ahead and friend me on Facebook, and I still have room.
Right. Yeah. Good. Well, bless you, brother. I appreciate you spending your time. It's valuable, and I genuinely coming here and just being hot, honest, open, and transparent with everybody, and just sharing your real live, real world result getting experience and outcomes. Now, it may not be what everybody thought it would be. Maybe they thought there'd be some top secret, hypnotic handshake kind of slick moves, when it boils down to, just help people get what they want kind of conversation. So thank you very much. And any last thought?
No, I just noticed another. First of all, I just want to thank the people who actually chimed in. So, especially Brett. And there was one thing that I didn't notice and answer, but let's just say thank you to Graham, taking in the great info. Perfect. Thanks, Doug. Again, I really look forward to meeting you. Ryan, your name is familiar. I think we might have maybe interacted before. And then Brett. You asked if my seminars, you're talking about my weekend seminars, if they're going to be recorded for training. No, they won't be at all. I'm actually only going to do it once too, by the way. I will not be doing it again, and it's going to be just the 9 people. It won't be more than 9 in each of those trainings. You know what? I'm going to take those people, and for the business one, or the hypnosis one, or the mentalism one, I'm going to change their lives that weekend. I'm going to feel like I did a good thing. It's going to be worth my while, as opposed to going out and doing shows that weekend. I'll do that, and not going to record it for a few reasons. But those reasons aren't because I don't want to share. The reasons are because it's not fair to those people who are going to actually come and learn from me, because they'll need to use that information to get to their next level, and I don't want other people to be able to do it unless they come there and actually meet me and take my training.
Right. Good. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. And as always, let me know what I can do to serve, support, and encourage you. Appreciate you sharing with my family here. And with that, Claude and I will say thank you very much for joining us, and always happy to deliver free value-added content. And like I say, if we want your money, we'll let you know. No problem there at all. We're all in business. So are you. If you don't learn how to ask for the money, you'll never get it, and that's potentially part of the challenge, isn't it? So thank you very much for joining us. And remember, regardless of what you heard here this evening, and I'll close as I always do, something terrible happens if you don't take action. Nothing. You've just wasted of your time. So do yourself a favor, do your business a favor, do your family a favor, do your community a favor. Get more business, make more money, and help more people. Not necessarily in that order. God bless. Take care. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you. Thanks, Brother Claude.
Thanks a lot, Randy. Thanks, Dean.
Anytime.
Yep, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We do this for you. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye now.